for Hush now.
So
you're
all seven of us
trying to be Kanata.
All 7 of us went for Rain, but I would have chosen Hush had I seen his results against Tails and Code, and just that recent, momentum that comes with that. Rain has been known to make mistakes in PvP before. He's only got about a 50% win ratio there at 5-4. Looks pretty stressed. I mean, that's a lot of stress on him right now as well. All this pressure, it's all to him. Any player who loses, it's it. It's over.
He's the guy right now that has to win. Here's Hush, undefeated in Pro League in the regular season in PvP. This guy is a sick PvP player. Like you said before, he did play against Tails, not the Protoss with the most results or anything like that, but he just showed his prowess of the matchup in those games, even though, and he like smashed Tails. It was not even close. Like, but this guy definitely a master of PvP.
Yeah. Definitely couldn't argue with you there, man. He is the PvP master going up against Rain, the Archangel Protoss on Frost, a macro map. Most of the wins against Tails actually came from either aggressive builds by Hush or Hush defending the aggressive builds of Tails. Anything could happen here. It could be the end of SKT in Game 1 of this best of 3 here at the playoffs for 2014 Pro League.
Up here in the top right in the red for SK Telecom, it's Rain.
And up to the top left in the blue, it's Hush for CJ Antis. So, Protoss versus Protoss on this map. Big map, long rush distance.
What are they saying?
Cool drawing.
They can't believe it. It's like real life.
It feels like a dream.
We're seeing mechanics right now.
Yeah. You know, the mech build.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of good mechanics as well.
Yeah.
For those wondering, unlike T/N, Koreans use mechanic as the word for mech, which is actually where the term mech comes from.
Yeah, it's a mechanical build.
Indeed. So, gas first for Rain. I would have expected that from a CJ player, actually.
Yeah, he's got a build prepared for this map, actually. Pretty big difference between the other SKT players.
Could be a early DT. David Kim, please nerf Terran. No more Protoss tears. Mech OP.
Oh, God. Why?
Please, David Kim. Terran too strong. Kappa
too strong.
Too strong. I saw one of my friends messaged me that that Classic got mech'd, M-E-K-T, in that game.
Not wrecked, he got mech'd.
Yeah, very appropriate way to put it. So I gotta say, so far this build is shaping up to be pretty terrifying. We don't know what it's gonna be. It's a lot of extra gas here.
Yeah.
And neither player has scouted, actually.
He's sticking on one gas, though. Gurjen is kind of making another appearance
Resurgence.
Here. Yeah. He's saying, please, Rain, can you win for us?
Yeah. And it's not. It wants that honey fun.
Yeah. It's got to be honey fun, or else it's no fun.
Well, actually, Rain is known for being no-gem. So that's why the honey gem came from. Because he is called no-gem, like no fun. His builds are
because he's always so safe, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what we call him, the Archangel Protoss, because it's like he's like the guardian of macro and light. He's not on the dark side of StarCraft. Neither is SKT dark, but he chose the ID.
Yeah.
He's like the
Sentry first.
Really dark. Wow, it's a Sentry rush.
Chrono boosted.
It's obviously a Nexus here, and with that extra gas, you can get the Sentry out safely. And
it's just the timing. I mean, he didn't get his second gas here, so he just has earlier gas, which allows him to get that really fast Sentry.
He has also a super fast Mothership Core, which he's going to scout with. Or no, that's not a Mothership Core. That's a probe. Never mind. I was about to say, like, how does he have that? So let's see. I mean, This is completely unscouted. It's going to be a Nexus going up here for Hush, but it's much later. And the trade-off obviously being that Rain is missing a probe here, and his core was a lot later, so his Warp Gate research is a little bit later. But otherwise, you know, he's pretty comparable. Stargate comes down here for Hush.
And a Twilight at the same time for Rain. Interesting. Could see Blink, which would be really, really nice to defend that Stargate pressure.
Yeah. And with a Gateway coming up here, he's actually going into 3 gates. So we'll see how the Stargate works out. The Stargate's going to allow him to keep Rain on the defensive a little bit. But Rain's actually already with his Nexus economically ahead. That's not something he's super concerned about right now.
Yeah. That was cute, that probe. It was waiting until the Mothership Core actually went on the farther side of its patrol path to try to sneak in there. And he actually did get a good glimpse of that weird corner you can get on that map where you can hide buildings, you know, a little bit north of your natural expansion, like above the top gas. So if anything was hidden there, you would have seen it, but nothing was.
And just a little bit of a scout here.
Yeah, he's going to see how much later the Nexus is of Hush than his. And he's also going to see this robotics facility coming up right underneath that hallucination.
No, he's also going to see the Oracle finish. Actually, not quite able to see that, but he saw the Chrono Boost, so if it was like he canceled last second, that'd be really weird. And he wouldn't really care because then he just wouldn't have to worry about it at all. So,
yeah.
Wow, you canceled that. Okay, that's like really good for me.
So he's got no defense here actually in the main. All of his units are at the natural, but this Oracle, good prediction here by Rain, is going straight to that natural. So he's going to have the necessary units to defend.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think it's almost like game theory. Like, is he more likely to attack the natural or the main? If he's more likely to attack the main, the other player is also going to go to the natural, having the same thought process. He also had the Mothership Core floating in between both bases, so if needed, he could have dropped the Photon Overcharge. He's able to avoid using that, sustains a small loss in probes, and the Oracle's still out there. Same as that fly that keeps flying around my desk.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to fly up my nose or something, I swear.
So, Blink is almost done, and he's got an aggressive stance here.
Yeah. Already a lot of Stalkers out here. He's got a forward pylon as well, so we could definitely see some aggression out of here. We do see the first, actually, Immortal coming out here, plus the +1 here for Hush. I feel like as long as he is able to get up 1 or 2 Immortals here, he should be able to defend any kind of Blink pressure pretty easily.
Revelation here, and forces an overcharge. That's one less time warp for later. Immortals are on the way here for Hush. I actually really start to like Hush's position more and more. He's down 4 probes. He did lose a little bit of mining, but as this game goes longer, that serve becomes negligible, as his tech is starting to become the right one that he's going to want to have against Rain's composition. Rain only has 7 Stalkers with this build. Starts at 3rd base, so this Blink Stalker play is just to pressure. We've seen builds like this before. Usually are oriented around Void Rays, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Rain? Actually, I think it was Rain on this very map in the same spawn location that used Void Rays to take a fast, risky 3rd like this.
I think it was.
Now he's going to do the same with Blink Stalkers.
Yeah. He's not going to be able to kill this, but he may be able to snipe some units. Let's see what he decides to do.
Oh, that was such great micro there. That was a very quick reaction. And here comes the Phoenix again. Scouts of Twilight Council coming up.
Yeah, that perfect timing on the Hallucination Scouts, man. He knows all the timings on this map.
So it's important for this Nexus to be scouted. He sees it now. Now, how can he deal with this? On this map, Blink is quite effective for counterattacks if he decides to move across the map. The Russians is pretty far. If he just straight up attacks into it, if it is complete, he can drop a Nexus Cannon on it as well. It looks like Hush knows this is his moment. A bunch of gateways being added here for Rain because he knows with a little bit of extra mining he's going to get at that base, he's going to have so much more to work with here.
On move command a bit here is Hush. He loses 2 Stalkers, a big loss, but he does still have these 3 Immortals on the way. And it's going to really, really bolster his army. He's moving out on the map, takes a 3rd base at the same time again, a little bit later than Rain's.
It's spotted by a pylon. He can be harassed by that pylon a little bit later, potentially. With all the gates Rain just added, he could even just do a big warp in his Helix right now, maybe force a cancel or something. Looks like he's not comfortable enough to do that. Might have just used a warp in anyways. So, let's see how this one plays out next. I mean, Rain is getting his own robotics. He's got charge, which is going to help him against the Immortals for now. He's getting cannons up in case of harassment. And does hold this base. Again, he's going to have his base much faster. Pros vs. Pros really is that one matchup, though, where having a base faster than your opponent is not always the most important thing, because oftentimes it's so hard to actually kill your opponent that by the time that you have an army that's maxed out faster than he did because he had that third base, he can't attack, and then he has his own maxed out army. Then it becomes an issue of composition and micro. It's usually decided by one big engagement in most cases. So this is not an unwinnable position here for Hush, that even though he's sitting back, accepting the fact that his base is behind.
Yeah. Now we see some kind of pressure here by Rain, just moving out on the map with the Stalkers, getting that map control. And Hush is going to push it back. He's going into Colossi now. He's already got one on the way. Yeah,
range is on the way as well. That's one other tech advantage that he has here, arguably. He has to make sure that he uses his Colossi well, because in small numbers, they're not that effective. And with a lot of Immortals on the map, sometimes you can get those focused down. I don't think Rain really has any Immortals, though. He's getting a Warp Prism right now for harassment.
Yeah, looking at Rain's army composition, he's really just got a bunch of Zealots and some Archons mixed in there, as well as some of those Sentries and Stalkers. So no Immortals in this mix. And it looks like he wants to go aggressive, actually, with that +2. It somehow got ahead of Hush's.
Yeah, and you know, he's got so many Zealots, and he knows he's scouted his opponent's going Colossi. He knows he doesn't have enough Colossi yet. Despite what I said earlier about it's so hard to kill your opponent, this is a very unique case where Rain has just got so many overwhelming amounts of charged Zealots where there's just not quite enough Colossi just yet. He doesn't have any defensive Archons either. The Mothership Cannon is going to be so important here at that third base. Should Rain decide to attack here? Should he decide to commit? 2-2 is, or +2 for both players. So close, so even with each other.
Warp Prism Harass is coming in here. Hush is ready with the Stalkers, though.
Yeah, Rain's just trying to force a big reaction here, maybe such a big reaction that he can actually attack the third base and take a favorable trade. He's actually trying to cut his way in between the naturals here. A huge warp end gets done, uncontested. So many Zealots here. That time warp, though!
Catches a gigantic amount of those Zealots.
Yeah, Stalkers blinking over to the side on those Colossi as well, and Immortals are at the front shooting Zealots not where they want to be. And good micro on the Warp Prism is going to allow him to drop Zealots behind the Colossi, and Rain is going to destroy this army.
He catches everything off guard. The Colossi are going to go down way too many Zealots.
That's all she wrote, man. This Nexus should go down shortly as well if Hush decides not to GG. This Nexus is actually going to be spared. 106 hit points, does actually target it down with a few more Zealots there. And this is the end. This is lights out. Hush's got that classic face on right now. Great timing attack here. Sentries for the Manor. Force fields on the Colossus. GG. SKT bringing it back. What an excellent day of matches, man.
Yeah, man. Rainey had all the pressure on him, and he was able to win. Somehow he was able to do it. We were saying how we thought Hush maybe, but Rain showing a little bit better prowess here in that PvP matchup.
That's a better build. And really good execution. Very, very impressive play today. And the hype continues, man. Today, everyone's saying it could go to a Game 7. We're one game off, making that a reality. It's Parting up against Effort, the man who wants to make it happen.
Yep, and that will be on Overgrowth.
Yeah, good map for Effort, but Parting, most people would consider, I think, to be the favorite going into this one. And just taking a shot here of the SKT bench. Rain looking pretty happy with himself. When execution, when a plan comes together like that, it's a very good feel. I mean, gas first, the rush sentry for the defense, early hallucination scouts, Hush being unaware of the third base for a while, then having that awkward moment when he knows it's really too hard to punish his opponent, and Rain just going full Zealot there. That time warp in that fight, that was crazy, but it didn't matter. There just weren't enough units.
It wasn't enough. He had to back off. He wasn't able to fight with that time warp, you know, and after those Zealots just ran out of it, it was basically not, you know, really influential at all into the main fight. So not doing much.
Nope. Rain just explaining, yeah, and then I killed him with all my Zealots. Do it like that, paralyze him. Maybe one day you'll be able to play in the grand final playoffs.
Yeah. It's funny how all the players who have had builds prepared for the match, like non-standard stuff, have won.
Yeah. You want to win today, you definitely got to be pulling out some new sick builds. Wonky strats. Being creative. Creativity
wild and
rewarded.
Crazy strats.
I like that, how you said that. So, going into this next game here, it's on Overgrowth, as you mentioned, Parting versus Effort.